Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's Jamie and welcome to the channel Thrift on Fire. Today's going to be a much different video than you're used to seeing on this channel. I'm actually going to wind up answering a few of the comments here that have been on the channel recently. I don't typically do that. I usually answer any questions directly on YouTube when they're asked, and I probably have answered some of these already as well, but we're just going to talk about them here on the channel. So we're going to start off doing this, and let me know what you guys think. So Nana Square says, Dave is the man. Well, I assume she means Dave IRL. I've mentioned him a couple times on this channel just because I do watch his daily vlogs, watch Trash to Cash podcast. I watch his picker videos as well. Yeah, it's a fun channel to watch. If you guys haven't watched Dave IRL, definitely watch it. Daily vlogs, very entertaining. He gets into everything from 3D printing to Disney trips to eBay to poor customer service. I think he means well, but sometimes it doesn't come across that way. Anyway, yeah, Dave is the man. Dave is a busy guy for sure. Love him. Started at eBay yesterday because of him. Just found you. So by just found you, she just found me. And thank you so much, Nana Squares. I appreciate that very much. And yeah, that's a good one. Jason says, what I've been doing with drafts, as soon as I get new inventory, I try to take pictures and load them with titles. Then I can basically pick and choose a variety each day. So he's not just, like me currently with the NASCAR and stuff like that. Today I threw up 10 Hot Wheels, 10 die-cast, 1 flag. It's a lot of the same stuff. So he's just saying here that he likes to mix things in. And, I think taking pictures of clothing is a good idea, Jason, and the other things you're picking up. And I think listing multiple things is really good. I do think me listing all this collectible stuff, I probably will see a decline in my clothing sales for sure, as I'm not listing a lot of clothing right now. Trex of Trish says, how did you get kicked off of Etsy? She also says I could reply with a YouTube link. But listen, this is what happened. I was very successful on Etsy. I was selling lots of VCRs and vintage clothing, and it was going really well. And I started listing brand new with tags jerseys when I started getting brand new with tag jerseys from a local by maybe a couple hours away, but a local supply of a discount sports store. So I was picking these jerseys up for $6, and I could sell them for $40 online pretty easily, $6 to $9 depending on the jersey. I shouldn't say they're all $6, but you can't sell brand new with tags clothing on Etsy. I knew that. I was told by a few friends that it was okay. I just believed it was okay because they were getting away with it. Yeah, I didn't get away with it. I got kicked off of Etsy. So if you hadn't heard that, that is the story. She also goes on to say, at 1546, you might want to move. I've had some background noise, I guess, in a video. And she said, the brass embellishments on the hangers are leather straps of the horses. Oh, okay. So she's just pointing out some stuff from the past video. Okay, but yeah, how to get kicked off of Etsy? Yeah, you can't sell brand new with tags. Things need to be vintage to be on Etsy, or handmade, I think, is the other stipulation of what they can be. The Grouchy Fish always has commented on my videos for almost since I started, to be honest. He's been around for quite a long time. Says, wow, this bag just keeps on giving. He's referring to one of the bags from the $6,500 NASCAR Other Collectible buy. We're just going through there, and I just kept on pulling out gems, and I agree. Sometimes those bags just keep on giving, and sometimes they're full of more junk and stuff that I don't know what to do with. But yeah, I agree in this case. That one bag from the reseller reality video, or just another day, or what was it called? Just another reseller workday. Yeah, that one at the end of the video, that was a good one. William says, hi, does the customer get an idea of what the tariffs might be before they buy? I don't know, honestly, because when I'm shipping eBay International Shipping Program, I don't see what the buyer sees on their side. I know what I'm charging for shipping, and I'm just getting it from my location in Ontario to the International Shipping Hub for me, which is in Mississauga, okay? Which is just a suburb of Toronto. As far as what the buyer sees, I don't know what they see. If I were to try to ship it myself directly, if I ship with UPS, it doesn't tell me what the brokerage is going to be or how much the tariffs are going to be when it gets to their door. So in that case, I can't see it either. The only way I could see how much the tariffs are going to be is if I was willing to pay them myself, okay? And things have changed now over the last little bit, and I haven't actually done this in the last month or so. But if you were to ship with Canada Post directly to the US, you need to use Zonos, and Zonos will tell you how much the duty or tariff is. Now the catch is, as the seller in this case, you're required to pay that. I don't think that's changed. I haven't done it in a while, so that's the only way you would really know how much it's going to be. I would assume when they're buying it through eBay International Shipping, they would see it on their end. But if they're just asking you a general question, the only really way to know is to look through Zonos. But again, that's just going to be what you could potentially charge them. But you got to figure that all out for yourself. So to answer the question simply, I really don't have any idea exactly what the buyer sees on their end, unfortunately. Mark says Norfolk with a big smile and kind of exclamation mark there. I believe Mark is from Norfolk as well. He'd love to hear the process of listing on Poshmark. He feels like maybe I'm doing something right. He's seen stories about people listing clothing and not really super excited about the idea of having to spend a bunch of extra time and effort on Poshmark. Well, here's the problem, Mark, and I'm just going to explain this to you as simple as I can and as honest as I can. Poshmark needs your attention, okay? I don't know why they love to make you work for it, but they do. If you list on Poshmark, think of it like this. I put one listing on Poshmark. It doesn't really matter if it's shoes, a t-shirt, or a die-cast car. My listing starts here at the very top, okay? You list a t-shirt that's the same as my t-shirt or similar, I get pushed down, and I keep getting pushed down and down and down and down. The only way for me to go back to the top is to share. So they want you to share what feels like constantly, okay? Every time you share, you're back in the top of the listing. Doesn't really matter if you have a really unique item and somebody's searching for it. It probably doesn't matter so much, but if you have a very basic t-shirt or clothing item or just a pair of Nike whatever, you're going to get buried really quick. So they want you to be active and sharing. They also want you to create followers and follow people and all this stuff. And that's, for me, honestly, where I know it's like I'm a broken record. That's where automation comes in. I don't want to do any of that stuff. I don't want to be social on Poshmark. I don't even want to send out offers to the people who want to buy stuff. I use Sidekick tools for all that stuff, okay? So this is not necessarily a plug for you to need automation. I'm just saying I cheat the system a little bit by having Poshmark or having Sidekick tools share my items to keep them as close to the top as possible at all times. There is a safety built in there because you're only allowed to share so much, which is, if you're manually sharing, I don't think you would ever hit the cap on what Poshmark allows you to do. But with automation, obviously it can do it a lot quicker and a lot more often. So yeah, you still need to be active. Poshmark has said recently sharing matters less, but sharing still pushes your items to the top of search. So I still see a big benefit in sharing, honestly. And as far as the rest of it goes, you list just similar to you would on eBay. The only difference is they kind of ask for like little tags that help in search. That's sort of like their item specifics in some aspect. But yeah, unfortunately, you do have to be active on Poshmark. It's not a list it and forget it type platform unless you use some type of automation that will help you, basically stay on top of the algorithm. James Smith says, great sales. Really like these videos lately comparing prices between eBay and Stallion. Definitely opened up my eyes with regards to really doing my due diligence and finding cheaper shipping options. Love these videos. Yeah, that's kind of the point of me showing the breakdowns of, if I go, well, let's see what this would cost on eBay to Stallion. I also had somebody else reach out. I don't think it was James that said, hey, why don't you use some of the courier services on Stallion as well? And I have, and sometimes I do, but it requires me to go to London, Ontario, which is about an hour away, which is fine. But when you think about the trip, that's 2 hours. So I have to drive there and back. So if I'm doing that to save $2, and if I'm only shipping out, like say 5 or 6 items, I'd spend more money on gas than the savings would be for the couriers. Okay. So me just paying up and still getting a better discount than eBay on Canada Post Expedited makes sense for the most part. But yeah, if you guys enjoy that part of the video that I've been adding back in recently, let me know. I'm sure that James would like me to do it, continue to do that going forward. It does take a little bit more time, but I don't mind doing it sometimes. Next up, we have Randy, Nova Scotia Kilt. Hi, Jamie. Definitely understand why you use flat rate shipping, but I do calculated shipping and give a heavy discount, which is fair. eBay tape quality is low and attracts attention. Now, I agree that the quality of the tape is kind of poor compared to some other tapes you can get, but I still have a surplus of it currently. I have a ton of it that I've bought over time, so I do like to use it up. And as far as the attention part, I agree that, you know, somebody might think there's something better in it because it's an eBay box, or if they see Amazon, but lots of people reuse boxes as well. So, you know, it's not, I reuse Amazon boxes all the time. So, and they still have, a lot of them still have the Amazon tape on them. Rather than customers knowing the package is coming from me, not a big corporation. Right. So essentially just kind of following up on the idea that it's a private sale. Hey, I hear a kitty back there. Juno. She doesn't want to show herself, but she's back there crying. Anyway, looking forward to more videos. Randy. Yeah, thank you, Randy. Carl, the lazy reseller. I've been on Carl's podcast with Scott a few times, and, you know, talk to Carl every once in a while for sure. Let's see what Carl has to say. He's referring to the shoes that I shipped out and lost money on because the shipping was super high into somewhere, an eastern province, or was it Newfoundland? No, I think it might have just been, maybe it was even a weird little town in BC, something like that. But here's what Carl has to say anyway about the situation. Let's use Siri to tell us.
Pretty well, I do the same thing. Only thing I add is rate tables for eBay Canada shipping policies. That way I can have a different shipping charge to remote locations like Newfoundland. But to be honest, I am finding it a little buggy lately where it doesn't always apply them for some reason.
Okay, yeah, so what Carl's saying is he has rate table set up, and I've talked about doing this for the last 6 to 8 months, and I just haven't finished setting it up. So you can have flat rate shipping where everybody pays the same price, but then you can set in exemptions, which are the rate tables. So like Newfoundland might be a little bit more money based off of location, okay? But he's saying it's been a little bit buggy, so it's not been working perfectly for him. So I do need to get those set up. I've talked about having those set up. I just haven't followed through. So it's something I really do need to work on. And thanks as always, Carl, for the comment. Slightly different video today than we're used to on the channel. Obviously, I thought today I'd let you guys take the reins, ask the questions, and give it a different spin on a Friday video. If you guys do like videos like this one, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing for more content. We'll see you guys soon.